Hi, Lucy Edwards, and thank you for joining us today. We're at Combat Blindness International's virtual World Sight Day event, and we're so glad
Oh,
that you're.
hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, no, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's begin with our interview. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how it changed when you're 11 years old and then again at 17?
Yeah, so a little bit about me. My name's Lucy Edwards. I'm 24. I am from the United Kingdom. I'm actually originally from Birmingham, which is our second biggest city. But I currently live in Milton Keynes, which is only about a 40-minute train ride outside of London because I go into London for work. I'm a freelance BBC broadcaster. I'm also a YouTuber and now, of late, a TikToker. I talk about everything blindness, activism. I present uh, varying different things from BBC Click, which is a technology show, all the way to BBC Radio 1. I was the first ever blind presenter on there back in December last year. So, yeah, I'm a bits and bobs type of girl. I lost my eyesight at age 17 completely, as you quite rightly said, but that whole journey was crazy for me, the whole sight loss journey. At age 8, my mom took me for a routine eye check, and the ophthalmologist there basically said to her, "Oh, unfortunately, Mrs. Edwards, your daughter has really poorly eyes at the back there." And my mom was like, "What?" You know, it really took her aback. She was only taking me and my sister after school. Just, I think she bribed us with some chocolate, like, "Come on, you can you can come to your eye appointment." Anyway, uh, and then that began this journey into what is my eye condition, which is called incontinenti pigmenti, which is a rare genetic condition passed down on the female line of my genetics. Um, Basically, it just means that the back of my eyes bleed, and eventually it caused retinal detachment. But through age 11 to 17, my vision was just getting worse and worse. And at age 11, I lost my right eye. And yeah, eventually at 17, it just popped off. And yeah, we've gone from there really with my journey of complete blindness. So yeah, that's me.
Wow. Okay, that it had to been, I mean, that's just incredible to lose your sight at such a young age. What helped you prevail in so many positive ways? Because it's just incredible what you've done with this challenge and through this challenge. And can you help us understand that? How were you able to prevail so well?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, well, when I first lost my eyesight and I was in the hospital bed, I was with my auntie and my mom. My dad was looking after my sister and my younger sister at home, taking her to school and whatnot. And they were sort of back at the homestead. And my auntie was sitting by my hospital bed with my mom, and she said, "Look, this is not the end of Lucy Edwards." And at the time, I did not believe her at all. It was even quite a poignant moment where my consultant that I've had since I was such a young girl at Moorfields Eye Hospital in London came to my bedside and said, "Look, Lucy, we always hoped it wouldn't come to this." And he was retiring that day. And I think going from the lowest point ever of my life and thinking, wow, how am I ever going to come back from, just having my eyesight 1 minute and having an operation, they're trying to save it and not. I think I just thought to myself, tomorrow, the next day, the weeks coming can't be worse than this. Nothing can be worse than this. And, I think that drove me forward because I just thought I could either sink or swim here. Um, and yeah, I did sink for a bit. There was times where I ate Ben and Jerry's in my pajamas. I had bad mental health days, and yes, I did suffer with depression and things through the trauma of my loss of sight because I was so young. But I think what drives me forward is the belief that you know sight loss is not the end of Lucy Edwards. I'm blind, I'm not broken, and I want to prove to people that that is the case because I think so many people don't necessarily, they think disability disables you, and what disables me is the world around me. I really do believe in the social model of disability. And that's what I want to show people, that it's not me that's wrong, it's not me that's broken. I need to show people that if they had different access requirements or changed, their thought processes somewhat, then I would be seen as equal and I wouldn't be disabled by my environment. So that's what drives me forward, and I just love being an advocate and a presenter. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Your words are water to my soul. I just thank you for saying that in a way that makes it so understandable to other people. I can't say enough good things. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that you prevailed because we need you in this world like this.
Oh, thank you so much. You're gonna make me cry too. Oh no, honestly, I think it's just what we all need to hear, even on our bad blind days. I can't always be this peppy, but I can always be online, sort of being like, "Hi, we're here too."
Oh
you
my
know.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, that is just wonderful. And also, I was just wondering, I mean, your videos resonate so much with me and so many other people. Why do you have an understanding of why they do or how they do? I mean, they're just amazing the way you connect and explain and help advocate for all of us with disabilities. And I just wonder, do you have a sense of why they resonate so well with so many people?
I think when you talk to someone on a human to human level, and that's what I try to do. I try and treat the camera as, the person who's watching. I think when you do that and explain yourself and really just sort of, you know, tell someone about your life and who you are, I think then, they look at the person and not necessarily the impairment. And I think that's what breaks down barriers. I think that's why people maybe resonate with my channel a bit, because it, yes, I have overcome something, but I don't think it's about necessarily always overcoming. It's about living life for what it is now and not dwelling on what we don't have.
Mm. That's just yes.
Yeah.
All of that. All of that. Oh, you're
Yeah.
just amazing. Yes.
All of it.
All of it. So you've had a pretty exciting, life so far. There's so much you're going to be accomplishing in your life. And I was just looking over that you've worked with celebrities and, you've in charities, and that you're the first blind presenter on BBC Radio 1. And I'm wondering, so far, what is the experience that stands out most to you? What has seemed like the most significant or memorable or favorite experience that you've had so far?
Yeah, and I think you touched on it really. Like, I think the most memorable experience for me was last year at BBC Radio 1. I think having that title as the first ever blind BBC Radio 1 presenter, it was so nerve-wracking, but so amazing. I think every part of my being was like, wow, I am representing our community. I'm doing something here that has never been done before. When I first lost my eyesight, I think, that's what was always in the back of my mind, that radio is so accessible to a blind audience and we can truly immerse ourselves in every part of the art. And I think that's why I love it so much. I think that's why it was so amazing for me to do. And also now just working with BBC engineers, hopefully in the coming months to years, making one of the London studios accessible to visually impaired people. That's what I'm striving for next, and hopefully we can get 3, 4, even 5 studios completely accessible. And my aim is just to go further with things, really. Yeah.
So I wanted to share with you, combat blindness is so one of our goals at Combat Blindness International is to empower people, especially people the sight loss community. And I know that's a big part of your mission as well with the Disability Change Makers on your website. And I'm wondering if you could tell a little bit more about Disability Change Makers.
Yeah. So I totally agree with you. I think this is why I loved and jumped at the chance to do this interview, because I think combat blindness and myself really do align together. We have the same mission to empower. blind people and say, this isn't the end of us. And I think with that section of my website, it really started because I did a speech this year for BAFTA change makers. And what I said in that speech was, we do need more representation. And it comes from the ground up. It comes from us all collaborating as a community, which we need more of. We need more blind people saying, right, we're banding together here, and no, it's not acceptable. We are valuable. It's really showing the children and youth of today, right, you know, I can do that. If we prove to a young blind child watching the television and they're seeing themselves finally represented on children's media, I think that will be the true point where that child then says to their mom, "Oh, mommy, I can do that." And I just wanted to start my own section of my website, hold people accountable and say, look, it's not just up to us as blind people. And I just wanted a place where someone can fill out a form and say, "Hey, Lucy, I'm doing this, that, the other." And I just love to hear about those stories in the hope that I eventually do turn it into a movement of some sort. And I think also the work by Caroline Casey at the Valuable 500, she's doing some amazing bits. She's holding people accountable. So it's just really echoing my counterparts and showing that it can be done. And yeah, I'll have to update you on how it all goes and whether I can get a focus group together.
Oh, that it would be awesome. Definitely keep us updated, and hopefully, with this interview, people will be connecting with you through there to be adding to, engaging with that process, because that's a really wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I also, you've already answered this question about breaking down barriers. I mean, your whole life is breaking down barriers, and that's a part of what we do at Combat Blindness International, is that we're really helping people to break down barriers caused by sight loss. And is there, I would really love to know, what is a piece of advice that you'd like to share with people that you might not, you've shared so much wisdom and so many ideas and have really broadened our understanding today. But is there anything that any bit of advice that you'd like to share that wasn't covered today?
Yeah, so I would say to those who maybe, I'm talking to the little Lucies who have just lost their eyesight and don't know what to do and are struggling with their mental health. I want to say that you are valued, you are valuable. You just need to find your voice, and whatever that voice is, you don't have to necessarily be, an activist or campaigner. Just follow your dream, do what you love, because at the end of the day, we can't control our sight loss necessarily. I certainly couldn't. But what you can control is what happens after it, and what you can make of it. And you are brilliant. That it doesn't define you, this loss of eyesight. You can do something with it and you can be amazing. There is so much technology out there at your fingertips. There are blind developers, medical personnel, we're in teachers, whatever you can think of the profession, whatever profession you can think of, we are in it. And I think, we're not going to be air pilots or taxi drivers, but you can pretty much do anything these days with a visual impairment. And it's just to say you can do it, and having the confidence to say you can. And no matter who tells you that you can't, you really can. You honestly can. And it's going to be really hard sometimes because there are going to be hurdles in your way, more than most people. And there are going to be days that maybe you get discriminated against, and that's not cool. But the more you can battle through, it will be the making of you, and I can promise you that.
So I just have to laugh and cry at the same time, because you're talking to the little Lucy's, and I'm more than twice your age, and I feel like I'm one of the little Lucy's that you're talking to, because I'm losing my sight. And So thank you.
Yeah.
I just can't even tell
Yeah.
you. You're thinking of a child, but like all of us who are in the process of losing our sight are sort of learning like children how to live differently. And so thank you so much. I
Yeah.
cannot thank you enough. And thank you so much for being here with us. Our mission with Combat Blindness International is to help restore sight wherever we can, around the world. But we're also so committed to helping people live their best life, with sight loss. And so thank you. You just helped me live my life better as a person with sight loss. So
Yeah.
just that in your talk to I'll just be little Lucy today. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm, because I think I always think back to, me not really knowing where to go with my sight loss journey because I was so young. But you're quite right. I think the what a really great analogy is that I have only been blind for 7 years. So really, with my tactile language, Braille and my screen reader, really, I'm only 7 years old. So we shouldn't beat ourselves up for not knowing something straight away or not being able to navigate with our cane straight away, because we're just learning and we're not going to have all the answers. And I think that's really great to just sort of admit at the start. And I think Combat International, I love what you guys are doing. The fact that most eye diseases are curable, I think, it blows my mind and baffles me that technology and medical developments are out there and people aren't able to get to them. But with what you guys are doing, you're changing lives. And yeah, I love that you're giving people a voice. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We so appreciate your support and your wisdom and helping us forward our mission. So thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you.